Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wyntercon VI. It's an absolute pleasure to have you join us today. Isn't that right, Sharon?
Yes, exactly. Loads of interesting things going on around the sports park here. Do get involved with as much as you possibly can. And right now, over in the Creative Cove, we are joined by none other than Professor McGonagall and Professor Slughorn from Hogwarts. And so I think we have our very own resident Death Eater here. I think surely this has to be your bag.
Well, you're making a Death Eater very nervous, the pair of you. Yeah, I think it is the owl that's doing it. So any Harry Potter fans in, you may want to come and grab a seat for the next 5 or 10 minutes of Creative Cove, as we're going to be chatting all things Harry Potter. We have provided seats for the comfort of your buttocks, so do feel free to take advantage of them. Yeah, so, well, I mean, tell us about your costumes, first of all. We'll just hand you the microphone, and you can tell us the story of your costumes, how many times you've worn them, how much work has gone into them, why you chose these particular costumes, all of that.
Well, I made most of the costume myself. I made the hats, my robe, and the professor's robe. And when you get old, the number of costumes and characters you can do does get reduced. And so this is a perfect couple for us to do.
Well, we feel that we can grow into the costume and the character, yeah, rather than growing out of it and getting too old to.
I mean, you're absolutely right. They talk about, you know, why should cosplaying, as you know, as we call this, just be for the young, with the young characters? I think, but I see your point that as you become more mature, wiser in your years, that you know, I'm part of that club myself. That there are undoubtedly. I mean, it's without getting all political about the arts, there are less roles for older actors, and particularly older female actors, which then I guess that is being picked up on by the older cosplayers. I mean, hopefully it may end up influencing, because there already is a campaign, you know, for there to be more good female roles, but also more roles for older actors. Interesting if the pressure for that can be added to by the cosplay community, demanding more characters so that there are more characters to cosplay. It's an interesting, because the cosplay community is vast, and could probably well apply pressure to the nature of the very casting of the things that they want to be. It's quite interesting, the connection. And obviously McGonagall is a fabulous older character to play. But there's probably, I mean, Harry Potter is probably one of the franchises that does provide several older characters, luckily.
Yes, she does. In the Harry Potter ones, there is very strong female characters of all ages, and that's the nice thing. It sort of empowers women to be able to take on those characters and the characteristics and that strength and confidence. But also, I mean, I've been cosplaying for many years and have had to move on and change the characters that I've done, as I feel like I can't continue being superheroes.
Which, interestingly, you know, is very similar to an actor. As you grow older, you suddenly, you know, you stop being the romantic lead, and then you start being the long-haired villain. In my case, but I always see it as an advantage that, you know, whilst I may lose the ability to play certain roles I enjoyed playing, there will be the excitement of taking on new roles that I couldn't play previously. And of course, I'm just thinking, you mentioned superheroes when you were talking about Harry Potter providing, J.K. Rowling providing those older characters. Yeah, it's not something that the Marvel franchise does provide as much. Not that it's their job to do that, but...
No, what they are failing to realize is that the baby boomers are the ones who started reading this, cosplaying it, and we're still into it.
Exactly. And
we are not.
Where are the characters for you
anymore? Yeah, we need those older characters to continue cosplaying. And if we can't do it in Marvel or DC, we have to look elsewhere.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, of course, as I say, we are here as our professors from Hogwarts. Now, Professor Slughorn, as we know, is very much into all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So have you got any artifacts with you, Professor?
I have indeed. The primary thing I have in this box is a griffin feather.
Griffin, how on earth did you come across a griffin feather?
Well, on my travels around the world, I came across many strange creatures when I worked for the ministry. And this is one of them that I just happened to have at home, purely for research purposes, of course. Yes. And also in here, I have a mermaid mirror that is covered in coral and little gemstones, and the glass is from, we think, a microscope from a sunken ship.
And what would you use a mermaid mirror for?
I'm afraid to look. How would I wish to be? Oh,
It's to
apparently I wish to be exactly as I am, so that's lucky.
Siren
Phew.
attack. You plug your ears.
It certainly does,
hold that
yes.
towards the siren, and they can't bear their own image, unlike mermaids who love their own image. Thank you. We also, in here, now this is very rare and is a unicorn horn from a juvenile unicorn, as you can see by the length of it. Now this is ethically sourced because we have discovered that unicorns shed their horn every year the way that deer shed their antlers, and so which must happen like that.
So I'm thinking this is a first here where we have an ethically sourced unicorn horn live on the Creative Cove at Wyntercon.
Well, you see, if it doesn't grow and shed and grow a bigger one, it would have to have the one it was born with, which would be very small.
Tiny, yes.
And on a full-grown unicorn, that would look very silly, and the other animals...
It could look quite cute. Oh, look at the
The other
cute little
animals
horn.
would point, giggle, and laugh at it. Or adversely, you'd have to have a small unicorn with a full-grown horn, which would be top-heavy and keep falling over.
And not fun for mum giving birth.
It would be tragic. Yeah, funny, but tragic. And so... Now this, I am the only one allowed to handle this because it may still be venomous, and this is an acromantula fang.
That's not from Aragon, is it?
One of his children. Yeah. And as you can see, it still has the hole where the venom would run through. So very rare, possibly quite toxic, and I shouldn't handle it too much myself. Now, if you have some thoughts that you would think that were particularly interesting for me, I always have empty jars just in case, and if they are really good, then I will, of course, reward that person with some felicis or liquid luck, purely for research purposes, of course. Yes. Thank you.
Lovely.
As an actor, I need all the liquid luck I can get my hands on. So
Join the club.
I may be donating to your jar later with some happy thoughts.
Now, Professor McGonagall, you've got the sorting hat with us. I understand you're sorting children here at Wyntercon.
We are actually sorting children, if anyone, well, children, adults, the ones who feel they've missed out on being sorted at Hogwarts, and they can be sorted and they will be placed into a house. We have the sorting hat, and then very special for here, we have a sorting bag, which decides which house they'll be sorted into.
Well, I think it's only right, as you're in the Creative Cove, that possibly John and myself should be sorted. I think we know where our Death Eater...
Yeah.
We know what house the Death Eater belongs in. That has to be Slytherin, surely.
I'm very comfortably Slytherin with my green eyes and my silver beard. I feel it's in my DNA.
But I think we should just double check. So if John and myself could be sorted, and we'll see where we actually belong at Hogwarts.
Will it hurt?
If it's not Slytherin, where did it all go wrong?
Ravenclaw.
So today I'm masquerading as a Ravenclaw.
Has the sorting hat ever been wrong?
No.
Did you ask it to be in Ravenclaw?
Honestly, I'm a Ravenclaw. Trust me.
We don't believe you.
Why would you not believe me?
So what about me? Where will I fit into all this? Let's have a look. Right, here we go. Right. Let's have a see. This is going to be Slytherin now, you watch. It is as well! I am in Slytherin. Now, just before you go, do I need to keep an eye on Norbert? Is he likely to be carried off purely for research purposes, of course?
No, I think he's quite safe. But I would like to say now that if at any part during the day he is missing, it's nothing to do with me.
Of course not. So, Professor...
We're bound to find him sat on the top of a local bank, causing havoc.
And Professor, whereabouts will you be all day?
We will be wandering around, and I will be demonstrating actual transfiguration at some point this afternoon.
So are you doing mobile sorting hat business? Wow, you hear that, folks? Mobile sorting hat.
So keep an eye out for our resident professors from Hogwarts, Professors McGonagall and Professor Slughorn. So do keep an eye out. Thank you very much for joining us over at the Creative Cove.